Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a really fascinating book called The Boudoir Bible. And it kicks off with a pretty provocative question, right? In a world that seems totally saturated with sex, why are so many of us, well, so dissatisfied? The book positions itself as a kind of catalyst for sexual growth, so let's dig in and see what it's all about.
So right from the get-go, the book tackles this huge paradox. I mean, think about it. Mass media uses sex to sell literally everything you can imagine. But, and this is the key point, you almost never see anyone promoting actual sexual well-being or satisfaction. And the book argues that this whole climate creates a space where, honestly, a kind of sexual ignorance just gets to thrive.
So, what's the book's core mission? Well, it's not just about sex techniques. It's much bigger than that. It's all about dismantling what the author calls a cultural pleasure taboo. The idea is that this taboo is built on a foundation of myths and social conditioning, and the ultimate goal is to empower you and me and everyone to take full responsibility for our own sexual satisfaction. All right, so to actually achieve that, the book says we first have to get a handle on the myths that are creating this pleasure taboo in the first place. The book really argues that our whole reality around sex is shaped by these two kind of powerful opposing forces. You've got unrealistic, goal-oriented pornography on one side, and then on the other, you have abstinence-only sex ed. And because both of them focus on pretty much everything except genuine pleasure, the combination just creates a really poor foundation for a truly satisfying sex life. Okay, but the book doesn't just point out all the problems and leave us hanging. Nope. To actually replace those myths, it lays out this really comprehensive solution, and it calls it the Paradise-Found Sexual Ceremony. And this right here is a pretty profound psychological shift. The whole idea is to reframe sex, to stop seeing it as some kind of performance, and start seeing it as a mindful ritual. In this ritual, pleasure isn't the destination you're racing towards, it's the entire path. The end goal is to achieve this state of psychophysiological well-being, which, yeah, is a fancy term, but it basically just means a sense of deep wellness in both your mind and your body that sticks around long after the ceremony is over. So how does this ritual work? Well, it's structured into three really distinct phases. First up, you have anticipation, which is when the ceremony opens. Then you move into the unfolding, and this is all about abandoning yourself to your senses. And finally, there's coming down, which emphasizes just reveling in that afterglow together. It's a structure that makes sure the entire journey gets prioritized, not just one part of it. Now, to really embark on this kind of ceremony, the book makes it super clear that you can't just jump in blind. You first need a detailed and, really importantly, an accurate map. And what is that map? Well, it's a deep, factual understanding of your own body's geography. The book really hammers home this point that self-knowledge is the absolute key to unlocking your potential, and not just in sex, but really in all aspects of your life. Okay, now this next part is one of the book's most enlightening insights, for sure. We're usually taught that male and female genitals are just fundamentally different, right? But the biological truth is, we all start out as same-sexed creatures in the womb. It's only around the 8th week that gender differentiation happens. And what that means is that our genitals are actually made of analogous parts with surprisingly similar functions. The implication of this is huge. It means our capacity for pleasure might be way more alike than we've ever been led to believe. So once you have that map and you actually understand the terrain of your own body, the book encourages you to start exploring it and in totally new ways. The whole goal here is to move beyond what can become kind of repetitive. Instead, it introduces this really cool idea of a pleasure palette. It's just like an artist palette, right? The more varied it becomes, the more options and possibilities you have for creating ecstasy. And a key way to expand that palette is through what the author calls implements of ecstasy. Now, the book is really specific about this. It's reframing these things not as, crude sex toys, but as sophisticated, well-crafted tools. They're designed to help you explore new frontiers of sensation, and even with a sense of aesthetic appreciation. And these illustrations really give you a sense of just how broad that exploration can be. I mean, the book covers everything from things like erotic restraints to instruments for male ejaculation control, but, and this is the important part, it always approaches these things from a place of enhancing pleasure, communication, and mutual respect. It's never just about shock value. Okay, so here's a really crucial point. This whole journey isn't just about hedonism or having fun. The book makes a really strong case that pleasure is actually fundamental to our overall well-being. In fact, it cites a ton of clinical research, and it details
at least 8 significant health benefits that are directly linked to having a fulfilling orgasmic life.
And these benefits are surprisingly extensive. I mean, we're talking about things that can reduce stress and lower the risk of heart attacks. They can even alleviate pain from headaches and migraines. On top of that, they can boost your immune system, improve your skin's health, and, get this, by helping to eliminate toxins, they might even reduce the risk of both prostate and uterine cancers. It's pretty amazing stuff.
So at the end of the day, this really is the central message. The book frames this whole pursuit of ecstatic pleasure not as some series of mechanical steps you have to follow, but as a genuine personal transformation. And it's a transformation that begins with something really simple, just giving yourself permission to be curious, to learn, and to explore your own capacity for pleasure.
And so, the Boudoir Bible doesn't actually conclude with a final answer. Instead, it leaves us with a final provocative question. It completely shifts the focus back to you, the reader, leaving you to think about how you might apply this whole philosophy of curiosity and self-knowledge in your own life.